Hey guys, Nishquick here, and today we got some previews for Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition a lot earlier than I expected to get previews for this game, but I'm not complaining. It's really cool to see people get hands-on with this game and really talk to us about how this game plays and their just overall experience with it. And I'm not going to go in super deep into detail on all of these previews because there's going to be other channels that do a lot of coverage on that, like Player Essence will probably do something like that. My buddy Yggdrasil, I know he's cooking up a really detailed video on that, but with this video, I want to talk about how my personal experience with this replay of Xenoblade Chronicles X is going to be enhanced and how it's going to just be different overall, because yeah, specifically RPG side over here, they talk about a lot of the quality of life features that this game has to offer. And I want to share some experiences I've had with the game as I was streaming it last year and playing it over the course of the past 2 years, and how I am very happy to see some of these changes, and I'm a little bit skeptical of some of them as well. I want to get your thoughts on this in the comment section down below, and of course, if you guys are excited for Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition like I am, the game is coming very soon in just about a month. If you guys are excited, the thing that is going to boost my excitement even more is if you guys hit that like button. It's going to help me out substantially, and it's going to get this video out to many other people who are also very hyped, very excited for Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, and also, like I've been saying in previous videos, I'm trying to hit 3,000 subscribers as soon as possible, and you guys, yes, you watching, you are the one who can help me with that goal. And that's if you are not subscribed, you can hit the subscribe button, and if you are already subscribed, of course, hit the like button, but also share this video to other Xenoblade fans, other JRPG fans, other Nintendo fans. Yeah, like I was saying, I want to talk about how my experience is going to be different with some of these quality of life features. So I made some notes here, so I'll just go based off of those. So the first thing I want to talk about is a quick cooldown, or quick recast as they call it in here. So let's read what they have to say over here. New to the Xenoblade series is the quick cooldown bar showing up alongside the battle UI. As long as you have this meter remaining, you can ignore the art cooldown time to cast any art you want with the tap of the Y button. This is very interesting. So I've been noticing with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and 3 specifically that the Monolith Soft team is trying to kind of stray away from this idea of, oh, we want you to wait till your arts are recharged. We want you to wait this long for your arts to be recharged. I don't dislike the art recharge feature of Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade X, because the more you level up your arts, the faster your art cooldowns are, and the less of a hassle and less of a stress it's going to be. But I've been noticing that with games like Xenoblade 2, where your auto attacks will recharge your arts, and Xenoblade 3, where they kind of combine the auto attacks and the timer cooldowns, they're trying to stray away from just letting you wait out the cooldowns for these. And what I like for this is it's gonna speed things up a lot more. A lot of the art cooldowns are very long in X, so I'm very curious to see this in action. I'll pull up a video in just a bit, but what's interesting is in X you have the primary cooldowns, you have the secondary cooldowns when you're using the weapon which is relating to that art, if it's a melee art or a ranged art, but then you also have tertiary cooldowns. So, and I think I did remember seeing the player character use this in the last trailer during an overdrive where you really wanted to get arts recharged a lot faster. I'm just curious if this is going to work with those cooldowns as well. Let me see if that says anything in here. Is restored at the end of every battle, can be restored gradually, is do auto attacks, you can increase your cooldown. Yeah, I'll get to that stuff later. I want to pull up a video really quick of someone using this quick cooldown feature if I can. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so here's a video of them using quick recast. So I need to be very vigilant with what they're doing. There, it's flashing down there. See, he used that art. Ah, there, it's back again. But he didn't get a secondary cooldown, so I couldn't see how he was using it. Wow, that's yeah, he's just spamming that same art. Okay. So I think it'll just refill it to its normal state without the secondary cooldown or anything. Anyways, this is going to make combat a lot faster, a lot smoother, and like I said, they're making it so that a lot of the tedium and a lot of the waiting around is like smoothened out, and a lot of that's taken away from the experience, so you can just go in, throw out your arts, get your soul voices out quicker and all that stuff, so that's really great. Okay, so this is one of the biggest and most important things I want to talk about. Yeah, so here it is. Here is what I want to talk about right now. No blade levels or division points. So let's read this because this is very interesting and very detailed. This isn't a change that I expected. And I was talking to some of my friends about this in my Discord server. Invite should be in the description down below. Sometimes there's issues with the link. Let me know in the comments below if the link doesn't work. But anyways, I was talking to some of my friends about this on the Discord, and I am not the biggest fan of this change. It's not going to make the experience any worse by any means whatsoever, but it's just a kind of feature that I will sort of miss, and I'm just curious why they removed it in the first place. So let's see what they have to say over here. This one is a bit more mechanical. In the original version of X, there was a mechanic called blade level which affected a handful of things. It determined which basic missions you had access to. Your blade level was improved with division points earned by completing quests, defeating enemies, performing tasks suited to your division chosen early in the game. So that is something that I really liked about Xenoblade Chronicles X. So Blade is like an organization with different divisions. So you have like the interceptors who are always fighting new enemies. You have like the pathfinders who are installing new data probes, exploring new areas of Mira. I think the prospectors are the ones who are out there searching for treasure and more loot and things like that, and then the mediators are the ones who are doing the quests and making sure everyone's okay, everyone's like doing fine and all that. So I liked that you can choose which division you want to kind of apply for, and then you're accepted into that division, and you choose your division based on your preferred playstyle. So if you like to get into combat, you can join as an interceptor. If you like to do a lot of side quests, then you can join as a mediator. I remember one of my friends was like, I like to do a lot of the side quests, so I chose mediator in my first playthrough because that was helping me get a lot of blade points. So yeah, joining that division and doing those respective roles more will net you more blade points. So I really like that. So like, if you just want to explore, then join the Pathfinders, you'll get a lot of blade experience. And getting that blade experience, which is different from your character experience, getting that blade experience would tie into your field skills. Every time you get a new blade level, you could go back to Eleonora at Armory Alley and increase your blade level. And that was kind of a nice gameplay loop and a sort of a nice feature I enjoyed in Xenoblade X, but they seem to be removing that for the Definitive Edition. So yeah, and another thing about the field skills, I'll get into it here in this article as well, but the field skills and those things that you're leveling up with your blade level were tied to the treasure and the probes that you find in the overworld. If there was a treasure that required you to have like biological level 3 or biological level 2 or archaeological level 1, 2, 3 or whatever, it was archaeological, mechanical, biological. You weren't able to get that treasure, you weren't able to get that bit of loot unless you had that specific field skill by leveling up your blade level. And similarly for probes, I remember a lot of people were telling me when I started X, prioritize mechanical because mechanical is what you need to install all your probes. So if you get mechanical level 4, you can install like basically all your probes except for the ones that need level 5. That feature is gone. And here's what RPG Site has to say. This, of course, has some repercussions on the game. Blade levels originally allowed you to power up your field skills to acquire loot from higher level treasure chest spots. If you only had your biological level 1, you could not acquire loot from biological level 2, etc, etc. Now that blade levels are gone, that means field skill levels are also gone, almost. Here is a little bit of a caveat. I was seeing some Twitter posts about this and I was kind of like, oh my god, they're just completely removing field skills, but it doesn't seem like that is entirely the case. So here's what they have to say. there are still a few locked treasure chest items that require you to complete some later game quests to gain an unlock skill, but there's no such thing as archaeological field skill. Yeah, so maybe you have to complete certain affinity missions, you have to complete certain story missions or certain basic missions, and maybe those story missions, basic missions, and affinity missions are the things that are going to upgrade your field skills that'll then allow you to access these different treasure spots around Mira. So it makes things a little more seamless, a little easier, and you still kind of have those roadblocks. And it's not that I want like anyone to be restricted, and I personally want to feel restricted as I played this game, but I liked that there was like an area I would find in like Primordia or Sylvalum, and I would see like, oh, biological level 4. I can come back later when I have that field skill unlocked, and then I can get that treasure for myself and unlock that node. It's gonna make things a little easier, and it's gonna almost feel like sort of like a Breath of the Wild experience, because in Breath of the Wild, when you get to a tower, you can, if you have the stamina, you can get up there. If you have the ability to walk into a shrine and like power through that shrine, you can do it if it's in like all the way across the other side of the map. So that's a little different from the original, but it's not too bad of a change. Another thing that I compared this to, I was talking to some friends about this, is the affinity goals system from Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. I actually have a video about how the affinity goal system is very similar to the Frontier Nav system. You guys should watch that. It's a pretty old video of mine. There was, to my knowledge, I feel like there was no like restrictions or locks on anything you could do with the affinity goal system in Xenoblade 3 Future Redeemed. So I feel like they're trying to kind of model Frontier Nav around that as well now. So now the more I vocalize it, the more I think about it, it's not that bad of a change. I was just, initially I was like, why do they need to change this? Why does this need to be changed? I think the big thing for me was the fact that they were removing the division points, because I thought that was kind of a cool incentive and bonus for you playing the certain playstyle that you want to play as. So I kind of like that personally in my experience with Xenoblade Chronicles X. But the thing with this and with other quality of life features that I'll be talking about later in this video, it's going to be making your experience with the story a lot faster, and you're going to be able to get through a lot of the story stuff a lot faster. And even if there are exploration and affinity quest requirements to advance the story, it's going to be way easier to get a lot of that done versus how it was in the original Xenoblade Chronicles X, because there were honestly, like, you guys might remember if you guys watched my streams, and you can actually go back and watch the VODs from my streams, but there were a lot of streams where I was just sitting there doing a lot of the quests and a lot of the exploration to get the requirements done to even unlock that next story mission. It was like 50% in Cauldros and do these 3 affinity missions or whatever, and I was spending so much time getting those things done instead of actually playing the story. So I think especially for us veterans, a lot of these features are pretty welcome, and it's gonna be pretty good to get through the game a lot faster in that way. And before we continue on with this video, I just want to remind you guys, if you have not given this video a like, just a reminder, give this video a like, guys. It's going to help me out a lot and get this video out to so many other people who are also very hyped and very excited for Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. And additionally, guys, if you are not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, especially if you are excited for Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, because I have a lot more videos in the works on the road to Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition's launch. And like I've said, I'm trying to hit 3,000 subscribers as soon as possible, and only you guys can help me reach that goal. I really truly believe that we can get there, and I'm trying to get there as soon as possible, so you guys can definitely help me reach that goal by hitting the subscribe button. Anyways, let's continue on with this video. What's next here? Let's talk about Frontier Nav. Yeah, of course, Frontier Nav is going to be accessed from the menu. That's going to be a lot more easy and a lot more seamless. Let's see, other additions. Yeah, this is something I wanted to talk about. You can now gain rewards for completing your survey of Mira. Based on the percentages tracked throughout your map menus, rewards usually come in the form of money, reward tickets, or energy clips, which increase the quick cooldown meter, allowing you to use it more often per battle. So it seems like a lot of the incentives for doing various things in the game, whether it's like quests or frontier nav related things or exploration related things, one of those things will be these energy clips that will allow you to increase the quick cooldown meter. In addition to that, it seems that the more you explore, the more you're going to be rewarded with money and like reward tickets and things like that. And I don't remember if you were in the original game, because I feel like from my memory, in the original game, you were only rewarded with battle points from the treasure, the actual treasure that you get, the EXP that you get from either installing a probe or getting treasure or things like that. But now it seems that if you complete a certain percentage of the map of a certain continent, you will get specific rewards for your completion percentage. Okay, so this one is very, very exciting. I think it's up here. Yeah, this was actually one of the first things they talked about, but it was not one of the first things on my list. So yeah, you can change your party anytime in the menu, which is phenomenal. It's something that I was hoping for throughout my entire experience with Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U, and I kept saying, like, I feel like I said it on my streams, and I said it in other videos about X Definitive Edition after it was announced. I was like, they need to eliminate the character hangouts and really like shake that up a bit, because here's how I would do it as I was playing the game. Basically, I would have to remember where the characters were in my memory, and if I didn't know exactly where they were, or if I didn't remember exactly where they were, I would have to have a website open on my like PC or on my browser. It was like a website which had the entire map and the entire frontier nav, all the nodes. And if you go into New LA, you could see all the people where they were hanging out and everything. And likewise, on my Wii U gamepad, if I looked on my Wii U gamepad, I would have to remember that a certain character is in a certain like sector of New LA, and I would have to tap around on all the nodes to find out where they were. For example, like, I remember Fog, still to this day, I remember Fog is in the residential district, and he's somewhere near the church. So what I would do is I would go to the residential district, the map, I would look at where the church was, like the nearest fast travel point. I would go there, and then I would just tap around all the other like related areas or the nearby areas to see where is Fog, where is Fog. And similarly with his brother Fry, I remember he would be at the diner every single night at the industrial district, I think it was. See, like, I always have, I don't want to have these memorized, but I had to, like, have them memorized. Like, Fry would be in the industrial district. L was in the administrative district at his shop. Fog was in the residential district. HB, I think, was in the residential district. Alexa was in the industrial district. And I don't remember who was in the commercial district. I feel like I'm getting a lot of these wrong. Everyone's gonna roast me in the comments about this. And the point is, if I've gotten a lot of these wrong, then that is proving my point even more that we needed a feature like this. Look at this. You can just go into your menu and select which characters you want in your party. So that's phenomenal, because the whole party management system in Xenoblade X was dreadful and it was annoying, and you had to either use external websites to find where people were, you had to use your memory, which is always failing the older we get, to remember where people were. And the more convoluted it got, it would make it more difficult to include other new people in your party, and it just didn't really incentivize me early on in the game to switch out Elma and Lynn and Lao and Elle and characters like that. So I'm very glad that it's going to be a lot easier to do that in this game. Additionally to that, it says, yes, you can change the time whenever you want. So this is something that you can like do in every other Xenoblade game, like on the Switch at least. Xenoblade 1, 2, 3, you can change the time of day whenever you want. In Xenoblade X, you can change it, but you can only change it at the red benches in New LA or anywhere else you find in any place that has a red bench. Or you could do it at these little campsites out in the wild, like in any of the continents, like Primordia, Noctilum, Oblivia, any place that has those little camps, you can go inside and you can change the time of day. But now, you can do it whenever you want, which is very good because a lot of certain tyrants and unique monsters only come out at certain times of the day. Very specific timings as well. They're like, this monster will only show up at midnight, or like it'll show up after 10 a.m. or something like that. Otherwise, you'd have to just keep respawning and wait it out. So that's going to save a lot of time. I remember there was a specific boss called Lila's Guldir, and it's a required mini boss, or like a unique monster or tyrant, which you have to defeat to get your level 5 mechanical level, which is now not going to be the case anymore because field skill seems to be gone. But that skill, or that enemy, which was in a skill, would always show up at around 7 a.m. So I made like a hard save at 7 a.m. or like maybe like 6:30 in-game time, and I would fly over to the location. If I lost the battle, I would have to reload the entire save and go back to that save where I'd saved at 6:30 a.m. and then go back into the fight at like 7 a.m. Now, what I can do is I can just change the time whenever I want. The thing is that Lila's Guldir battle was close to one of those campsites I was talking about, but the fact that I don't need to go to any of those campsites anymore, if I lose the battle, and if I luckily still have my skill intact, I can just change the time of day to exactly what I want, precisely where I want, exactly the specific time that I need to prepare for that boss fight, and then I can just go in. It just saves a lot of time and energy. And speaking of like save files, I saw that they're now increasing the number of save files from 1 to 3. So it's going to play like it did in Xenoblade 3, where you had 3 different save files. So that's very good. I'm going to utilize that to my advantage, because there was many instances where I felt like, dang, I wish I had an additional save file so I can go back to that save file and not have like, because I screwed up over here and I want to like rectify that mistake with an old save file. So now you can do that, and it's a lot easier to have multiple play sessions as well. So that's another like really great quality of life feature that I forgot to talk about. One more thing about characters. Let's look at this. This is very awesome. Very, very awesome news, especially for me as a future Neil Nell fan. Actually, as a present Neil Nell fan, I am very excited for this specific news. If you played the original version of Xenoblade X and you watched the previous trailers, you saw some new faces that you didn't recognize. Also, if you counted the number of character slots in the new aforementioned party menu, you'll see that there are indeed new playable characters in the Definitive Edition. However, that's all we can say for now. So I have some thoughts on this. So in some other tweets, they were saying that it is going to increase the character count by 4. So 4 additional party members. I'm wondering, are we going to get all of these characters throughout the experience, or are they going to be saved for the very end of the game? I'll get to that near the end of this video. But I definitely think that they're teasing that Neil Nell is going to be playable. I truly feel that Neil Nell is one of them. I think the Hresvalgar pilot, that masked pilot who's wearing like that Nier Automata mask, she's gonna be playable. I have a feeling that the lone hero will be playable, who is the kind of like the Black Knight character, the one in the hood, the hooded figure, presumably Elma's partner. I think he'll be playable. And if he's not playable, then I think that could take one of the Rothian slots. So my fourth playable possibility was going to be Gijarg or Gibuid, who are the other Rothian party members. Really cool, like, tiger, cat-like, feline warriors you'll meet in the game. Everyone wanted them to be playable in Xenoblade X. Unfortunately, they weren't. This is their chance to get them to be playable in this game, because they have really cool weapons, really cool movesets, really cool animations. Hopefully we get to have them playable in the game. But like I said, it seems to only have 4 additional party members, I think. If the lone hero is in there, then that eliminates one of the Rothians. So I guess if you want both Rothians, then it can be Neilnel, Hresvelger Pilot, Gijarg, Gibuid. And if the lone hero is playable, then you can eliminate one of those characters. So we'll see. I truly think the Hresvelger Pilot will be one of those playable characters, because we're gonna get that skill. We've seen like that skill as a playable skill in gameplay footage and in the last trailer. And I would be so down to have Neilnel as a playable character. That would be so cool. Get her in her Affinity Quest, we learn more Clorian lore, and we get another amazing waifu on our team. So that would be awesome as well. One final thing I want to end with is this stuff about the new story content. Let's see what this says over here, because this is very telling. Of course, we can't talk about this content yet, but what we can say is that it is not accessed through a separate menu or launcher as you might have seen with other Xenoblade titles. So basically what that means is, you remember in Xenoblade 1 Definitive Edition, right when you start the game, on the menu you see on the bottom you have the option extra story, and right from the beginning of the game, even before like starting the game for the very first time, you could go in and play Future Connected. Many people who played Xenoblade 1 on the Wii and the 3DS were able to jump into the game and go straight into Future Connected and see the new stuff first, so they weren't spoiled or anything like that. Some people saw that as kind of a detriment to the experience, because some people wanted to go into the game, replay Xenoblade 1, and then go into Future Connected. But the fact that Future Connected was available right from the get-go meant that they had to like avoid spoilers and all that stuff, right? So that's another thing. And similarly for Torn of the Golden Country and Future Redeemed. Future Redeemed is a better example because Torn of the Golden Country was like a separate release. Future Redeemed was something that you had to access from like the main home screen of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And it was still within the games. And that does not seem to be what is happening here with Xenoblade Chronicles X. It says here, what we can say is that it is not accessed through a separate menu or launcher as you might see with other games. So what that tells me is this isn't really going to be a Future Connected style experience or a Future Redeemed style experience. It's going to be an additional chapter to the end of the game. I think X ends with 12 chapters, if I'm not mistaken. So this will probably be like chapter 13, 14, 15. If they want to add additional chapters to the end of the game, it's going to be like this. So the ending of the game is going to be like extended. And that's very cool. That's very interesting. And I saw a lot of people very, very happy for this. And the only reason I can think of that you'd be like ecstatic for something like this is the fact that you're going to be avoiding spoilers by going through the game like at a second go. I was like a tad like not upset, but a little bummed. I just beat the game last summer. I don't mind going through it again because the game is so much fun. It's going to be amazing, and especially with this quality of life stuff that we've been talking about throughout this video, it's going to make the experience so much faster, so much smoother, so much snappier. So I'll finish the story mode a lot quicker and then get into that new story content as soon as I can. But it would have been a little nicer if I could just jump into the new story stuff immediately. But with how X is, how you have like a playable character, you have a playable avatar, it was going to be tough to figure that out anyways. How are you going to get into the game like right near like the latter half of the game what's your playable character going to be? What are his stats? What are his classes? What's his skill gonna look like? So many questions, and it just probably wouldn't have been feasible. So this is totally fine. With the quality of life features incorporated with this new rearrangement of this game, I think this is the best outcome they could have done for this extra story and this new story content. So yeah, this is basically all I have to say about this new additional quality of life features and story content for Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. I know I have a little more different kind of opinions about this stuff compared to other people. What are your thoughts on all these changes? What are your thoughts especially on like blade level going away and not being available anymore and all that stuff? And addition to all of this, I mentioned earlier in the video, I do have a lot more Xenoblade X videos in the works right now. I have one which I've just recorded the audio for, and I'll be editing out the video with b-roll footage and all that stuff sometime soon. Hopefully I can get it out by this weekend or sometime next week. And I have another one which I'm planning out, which is more targeted to the veterans, but also newcomers can watch it as well. It won't include spoilers or anything, but I'm waiting a little longer to get into the full swing of production with that one, because I have a feeling, I have an inkling of a feeling that we're gonna get another new trailer soon, maybe this week. And if we get a new trailer, then I will like jump into making that video. So first comes the newcomer video, then I'm gonna wait for a trailer, see if a trailer comes, then I'll make the veteran video. And on top of that, there's gonna be much more Xenoblade Chronicles X related content before and after the game comes out, and I'm gonna probably stream my experience with this game again. I always love streaming Xenoblade Chronicles X, and I know a lot of you guys enjoy that as well. Anyways, that's enough for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, give this video a like and subscribe for more content just like this. This is Nishquick signing off. Have a great day. Go play some great games today, like a Xenoblade Chronicles game to prepare for the launch of Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition in March of this year. Coming up very soon. I'll see you guys in the next one later. Hey guys, this is Nishquick. Thank you so much for watching that video. And if you enjoyed it, check out these two videos on the left and maybe subscribe if you haven't on your way out. And big shout out to all my channel members whose names you can see on the screen right now. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.